So today we're going to be looking at yet another 1/14 scale brushless speed truggy, and this one comes to us from Jetwood. Now if you're looking at this car and thinking, gee, you know what, this car looks a little bit familiar to me, I think I've seen this before. Well, you'd be right, because this is in fact the MJX speed truggy that I unboxed about 6 months ago or so. Now Jetwood are a brand that is associated with MJX. They are kind of like their customization brand. They do mostly cosmetic changes and little packages with the existing MJX cars. This is one of the ones that they've done, and MJX was actually the one that reached out to me and offered me this car to showcase here on the channel. So, you know, big shout out to them. So you might be thinking, okay, well, what is the difference between this car and the original MJX car? Well, I'm glad you asked. So let's find out. I will tell you exactly what the differences are. And I will say that there are a lot of similarities as well, but there are a few little subtle differences. Now, of course, you get the car fully assembled and ready to go, just like the original MJX car. You do get two bodies. These are two different colored bodies, and we'll talk about those a little bit later on. You get your radio, which is the same radio that comes with the other cars. You get two batteries. One of them comes in that little box that you would have seen in a little unboxing montage at the start, and there's one already strapped into the car. You get some springs and some A-arms. You get a wheelie bar that you'll need to put on the car itself. You also get a charger and some little tools. You get a couple of drive shafts in there, which will come in handy, you know, if you smash those up. You get some spare body pins, and there's also a couple of spare shock towers in there as well. And there is also some hinge pins and a couple of wheel nuts in case you do lose a wheel nut. So that's pretty much everything you get as far as spares. Now the other things that you get are these stickers, and primarily this is really, aside from the bodies, this is the only other sort of big thing that you get. They give you a couple of sticker sheets where you can decorate the cars however you like. You got some window stickers there. You got a bunch of bullet hole stickers that you can go crazy on. You know, this one looks a little different to that one, and then you can decorate the cars accordingly. And then they also give you these little chassis stickers. Now I believe they've got about half a dozen different designs of these, and then they pick 3 random ones to throw in the cars, and you get what you get essentially. That's how they're doing it. So these are my 3 designs. When you order yours, you'll probably get slightly, you know, a couple of them might be different or something like that, but that's essentially, you know, you stick those on the underside of the chassis, and it just makes it look a little cool, bit more urban, I guess. The manual is very similar to the original MJX manual. The only thing that I think they've left out of this is the ESC power unlocking feature thing. So on the MJX manual, something that I found out afterwards was that if you press the on button on the ESC 5 times in a row after you've turned it on, you get a couple of beeps from the motor, and it unlocks full power out of the ESC, and you get more speed out of the car. You do the same process again, so you repeat the process to bring that back to a lower speed if you are going to hand this over to a less experienced person. But for some reason they've left that information out of the manual. I can't find it anywhere, but everything else is in here. I mean, how to hook it all up, you know, exploded views on how to work on your RCs, part numbers for everything. There's a spare parts list at the back with, again, part numbers for everything is on there. So they've got everything there. Just that little bit of information seems to be missing. Now the radio is one that we've seen before with the other MJX cars, and to be honest, it's kind of okay. It runs on 2 AA's that are put on underneath, which I've actually got a couple in there. You've got a 3-position switch here for your speed. So you got off, 70% and 100%. You have your throttle trim and steering trim. This big warning sticker here is just basically telling you not to touch the throttle trim before turning on the car, just in case, you know, you get a runaway or whatever. And this sticker here is just basically telling you that when you turn the car on and you turn the transmitter on, don't touch the throttle or the steering whilst it's going through its initial binding process, because this is one of those radios that kind of rebinds itself to the car every time you turn it on. So if you have any input on either steering or throttle, wherever your trigger is, that's going to be the neutral point, and that could of course affect the car. So it's not a bad little radio. It doesn't really have anything to write home about, but it does the job. So moving on to the star of the show, the Jetwood Speed Truggy. It comes with 2 bodies. This is one of them, which I think is probably the nicer one in my opinion. I like the matte finish with a little bit of gloss. It seems to be a growing trend over the last few years with a lot of manufacturers to do this sort of like matte finish with some highlights in gloss, or vice versa. This one's got little roof skids on top, which are nicely raised. You've also got a little brake light back here, so it stays on when the car is operational. And then when you hit the brakes, it goes a little bit brighter. And then you've got your little wire that plugs into the car there. The only complaint I have about this body really, I mean, it's an okay body. And if it's the same as the one that comes on the MJX as far as quality goes, it'll last, it'll be okay. But my only complaint to this wire, it's kind of short. And you'll see that when I go to take the purple one off. And it doesn't have that sort of coiled kind of buffer that you tend to get, you know, that little bit. So when you take the body off, you're not just yanking on this cable, because a lot of the times when you have bodies that have LEDs, they got to be plugged in. And I've done it myself, even though I know the car's got LEDs, and you got to take the body off and you give the wire a good old tug, and yeah, it's just not ideal. So that would be something that they could improve there for sure. All right, now for the purple one, it's a little bit glossy and it doesn't look too bad, but I definitely prefer the black in my opinion. I think the black's a little bit cooler. Now, this is going to be a little bit more of a comparison between the Jetwood car and the MJX car, because there are some subtle differences, and then there are actually some interesting differences as well. So they've upgraded this car a little tiny bit, and I'll show you that as we go through this. But one thing they haven't changed, which I'm really disappointed on, is the diameter of the body post holes. I mean, oh my God, why are these things so tight on the body posts? It's just ridiculous. Can we please get a body reamer over at MJX or Jetwood and get proper body hole sizes to go with the posts? Because having to yank on the body like that every time, it's not good. I mean, I've got the tools to do it, but some people don't, and it's just really annoying. So you can see here how short the wire is when it's attached to the chassis. I mean, even putting the body to the sides, a little bit of a challenge. But it can be done, obviously, if you're just replacing the battery. In this case here, I'm going to very carefully remove it from its little board here, and that's the body there. So we'll put that one aside as well, and that's the truck right there. So this does have a little front LED light, and I'll show you this towards the end as well, how it all works. Got your ESC, your motor. I believe these are the same specs as it was on the MJX. The other battery that I was talking about, waterproof receiver box, tower-to-tower brace, nice squishy soft tires, which look very much like trenches, and then of course you can install your wheelie bar on the back if you want to do that. The bumpers on these are slightly different because they do say Jetwood on here, and of course the LED light at the front, you know, just highlights Jetwood when the lights are on, which look really cool. Aside from that, a lot of it is the same, but one of the things that are different are the drive shafts. So I actually forgot that the MJX comes with telescopic aluminium drive shafts, and these ones are just standard CVDs. Whether that's better or worse, I don't know. Aluminium hinge pin braces like on the other one, aluminium chassis, of course, just like on the other one. Alloy shocks are the same. The wings, the body posts, everything else stays the same, but they did change one thing that I didn't realize they changed. And on this one, we actually have an alloy little steering rack right there, which is a nice little touch. Now, I do have the original MJX car right here for you guys to have a look at and compare. I've got the gold body on this one, and you can see straight away that the MJX comes with the red writing on the wheels and tires. This one comes with the red, so with the white. And aside from that, you've got front bumper LED. So this is just the 2 LED lights that are on there. Come on, camera, do your job. There you go. So it's just 2 LED lights that are on there. There's no tail lights or anything like that on this particular car. But on this one, you do get those extra cosmetic lights and things like that. And of course, this one's got the plastic steering rack. That one's got the alloy one. Everything else on these cars is pretty much the same. The one thing I did notice though, this did come with a spare spoiler. So I did get a spare spoiler with this car. This one didn't, which I didn't realize until I actually grabbed everything and sort of put it side by side to see what was different. And that was really it. Oh, and you also got, with the MJX car, you got the paddle tires, with that deal when you purchased it from Amazon. I don't know if these are still available. I think they still might be, but that was one thing that I did get with the MJX car. Now, as far as durability goes with these cars, if you haven't seen the running video of that MJX car, I'll link it in the video description below for you guys to check out if you want to see it. But when I run this, I mean, these things, they're ballistically fast, right? These are very fast cars. They're very durable cars as well. I beat the absolute snot out of mine, and I ripped the wheelie bar clean off the back because I was really enjoying bashing on this thing, and yeah, I just pushed it a bit too far and ripped the wheelie bar off. And then at one point it had a really nasty landing on a corner and snapped one of the wheel hubs clean off. You can see there, which is why that MJX car has got new wheels and tires on it, because I figured, well, just, you know, I won't replace just one, I'll replace all four and keep the other three good ones as spares. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as this car goes. And I'll plug it in and I'll show you how all these lights work and everything. So it actually does work really, really nicely, and the lights work quite well. I might put the black body on actually. Let me just hook up this LED real quick. All right, so body's on, and you can see how bright these LEDs are. This one's probably a little bit bright for the camera. That's the rear one there. So we'll go forward and then hit the brakes. It actually flashes when you hit the brake, right? And then let go and then reverse, and it just goes bright in reverse. I didn't realize it actually flashed when you hit the brake. I thought it just went brighter. And then of course you have the little button on the handle of the radio which turns the LEDs on and off. It'll turn both of them on and off. That's essentially how that works. But yeah, there we go. The Jetwood little 1/14 scale brushless Truggy. Lovely little car, good little package. If you want to grab one of these, check out the video description below. I'll have links in there for you to check out. Big shout out to MJX and Jetwood for sending this one out for review. Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll be speaking to you all next time.